chance points. That's going to be a big bonus for them.
RIKE, 17-footer. That will go for Troy RIKE.
Troy RIKE, high stance.
Here's RIKE for three. Oh, why not? Oh, and Troy RIKE with two guns in the hole.
The athleticism of both teams and their mentality to try to attack in transition every opportunity that they get.
What's up, my guy?
Hey, man, how's it going? Wait, I'm just trying to figure out my headphones real quick. All right, I think I got it.
You got it?
Yep.
What's up, bro?
How's it going, man? How's everything?
We're good. We're good over here. What's up with you?
Just trying to make it through quarantine the best I can, enjoying this, time I have with my family. Especially in California, it's like super locked down over here. So
trying to make the most out of the downtime, huh? Because once the PBA starts, you're done, bro. You're done.
I know my family got so spoiled. They're like, "You won't be back until December? That's crazy." I was like, "Yeah, that's what being in the PBA is. Like, if you're lucky. Some dudes, a lot of Chileans come home like once every like 2 or 3 years." So.
Yep. Oh, bro, if you can go home once a year, bro,
exactly.
You're lucky, bro. You're lucky, bro. But it's crazy though. Congratulations, man. Finally, gonna try to get in the league.
Yep. It's been a minute. It was only a matter of time.
Yep. Yeah, man. They're excited to get to know you guys. I mean, you played college out here. You played Gilas for a little bit, and then 3x3. So they want to get to know you just a little bit more, especially off the court and all the experiences here in the Philippines since you moved out here. So I appreciate the time, brother. I'm sure everyone's excited to get to know you. You good, bro?
Yeah, man. I'm excited. I like the style of the video. I feel like you really get to know the guys. So
for sure, man.
It's cool.
This is informal, bro. Like, we can talk anything you want and, just have fun with it. All right, bro?
Let's do it.
Troy RIKE, just let us know, like, what your background is, what your history is, where the passion came from, where it started, your career, how you grew up. Like,
yeah, I mean, basketball has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember, honestly. I wouldn't say my parents were, like, fanatics. It wasn't like a Tiger Woods dad type of thing where it's like they're yelling at me and I'm running up the hills and everything. But I think they definitely were big basketball fans. So I had the little hoop. I played in the leagues and all that kind of stuff. So that's just what I remember since I was young. I played a lot of different sports growing up. I feel like I played everything: baseball, football, soccer, lacrosse, crew, all this stuff. But basketball was always just my true love, and I stuck with it. And I've had some great experiences. I don't know how we're doing. I don't want to I feel like I'm in an interview if I'm listing like a basketball resume or something like that. But I've been really lucky to experience a lot, play for some great teams, and just the fact that I'm still playing now, I'm really, really happy about.
My earliest information is you played for Wake Forest. I mean, that's the earliest that I know of. How was that process like getting to a school? Like, bro, Wake Forest is crazy. Like, that's Tim Duncan, that's Chris Paul. So, like, how was that? Like, that's like the process of going to Ateneo, the Ateneo Blue Eagles. That's how it feels like, especially with that kind of school. So how was that process? How was that, that situation like getting into Wake Forest?
I mean, it's crazy. I almost wish I had enjoyed it more at the time or had more perspective on what was going on.
Oh, you didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't. I knew it was big time, but I guess you don't have any really, you can compare it to high school, but everyone knows high school is not small time, but you know what I'm trying to say. But the experience I had, playing pickup with Chris Paul, Tim Duncan, Harry Giles, Mo Bamba, just how spoiled we were, man. It was crazy. Our laundry is done for us, the meals. We fly charter planes every game. We had tournaments, Bahamas, Hawaii, and playing with, my teammate, John Collins, one of the top players in the NBA right now. So, and also learning from Danny Manning, who was, older. Some people may not be familiar, but he was the #1 pick. He's a big man for a long time. So just that experience was crazy. I'm so thankful looking back, just from the academics too, the social, the basketball, everything was great. And I don't know what else to say besides it was just, I'm always thankful I had that experience in my life.
How was it like after Wake Forest? How was the process like? How did you fly to the Philippines? Like, where did the plan come from? Was it a plan from the start? Because I'm sure it wasn't, because you were playing D1. I don't know what the fuck is going on in the Philippines. I don't know if the culture was already there in your household when you were younger, or was it introduced to you at the late part of your career?
Yeah, so my Filipino culture was always huge for me growing up. I think especially being in San Francisco. You can just drive 20 minutes and it's basically Manila. You know what I mean? So my family and my mom always being born in the Philippines and then moving over here, that was a big part of my culture. I've joked with him a little bit about it, but I had a Gabe Norwood jersey growing up.
Oh,
so
for real?
You know what I mean? So
a college jersey or a
his Gilas one. I think when he first got on Gilas, I had a Gabe Norwood Gilas jersey. So that was always in my mind. I was more so familiar, like I said, like I didn't understand the whole PBA and especially UAP world, but I was at least had heard of it. My first real experience was, I'll tell this story. I think I might have been told it, but I'll tell it again. We were one of like the top teams in California when I was in high school, and we lost to a small high school called Westmore, which is in Daly City, California. I'm sure if you're listening, a lot of people know Daly City is huge Filipino population. That team was like all Filipinos, and they beat us, and I missed the game-winning shot, and I was like, man, like a little tip in, missed it. I was so down. I was so sad. It made like one of these like PBAdraft.net type websites or something like that, like all Filipino team stuns number 3 California team. And then someone just commented, it had our stats or whatever. And then there's like that T RIKE kid is Filipino as well. And I don't know who posted it, but thank you, because you changed my life. And then after that, I just got put on all these like websites and all this kind of stuff. And then shout out to your boy, shout out to our boy Anton.
Yep.
And he reached out, and then, you know, Coach Eric and then you were the first ones to recruit me out to the Philippines when I was still in high school. And I went out and visited. I visited NU, visited Ateneo.
You visited it in high school?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I visited NU, I visited Ateneo, I visited UE. I think I stopped by LaSalle. But I just I know it's crazy because like those offers were there too, right? Like the idea of getting paid to play basketball, especially at that time, like I said, to be very clear, I was not a heralded recruit out of high school at all. So I was like, someone wants to pay me to play basketball? That's crazy. I mean, scholarship, sure, but like on top of that, you know? But I just, once the Wake Forest opportunity arose, I just couldn't say no. Fast forward, I actually every year in college too, they're like, hey, you want to transfer? Not any specific schools, but I was just like, no, I think I'm going to stay here. My dream was to work at a company called LinkedIn. It's kind of like, Facebook for business. And I was all set on that. And being a little bit of like, you know, the cocky senior guy I was like, I'm going to get it. I'll just apply. And then, you know, that job process takes like 6 months. So I made it to the final stage, but then I didn't get it. And it was like, you know, I was professional basketball was never in my mind, to be honest. So I made it it was like April. And then I was like, okay, scramble, applied to a couple jobs, got one. And I was like, you know what, but this isn't what I want to do. Why am I settling for something I don't want to do? And literally it was like that exact time I got a message from, I apologize, I forget who it was who reached out to me first, but it was like that 23 for 23 thing. They're like, you want to play with Gilas Cadets? And I was like, sure. I mean, it's to this day. I was like, there's nothing more important to me than representing the country. To be completely honest, even if a UAP school had called me and say like, we'll give you this amount, I wouldn't have come. I just would have done something different. But I was like, this opportunity to represent the country once in a lifetime. I'm not saying no. So I flew out. I packed my bag for literally 1 week. I had like a couple of t-shirts and stuff in there just so I could play the games, then go back. And then one thing led to another. And I've been in the Philippines for the past like 3 years.
How was that adjustment to the Philippines? Like just the culture. I know you were used to it. You were growing up around Filipinos.
But it's still different. Like being, you know, knowing Filipino culture versus living in the Philippines is different. You know what I mean? And especially it's the same thing. Philippines, US, no matter where you are, your senior year of college, that's the most comfortable you'll ever be in your life. You could probably like at UP, right? They have that what's that place? It's like lechon or something like that. Underneath, you could probably walk there with your eyes closed, order your favorite dish, sit down, your friends will show up. It's like, man, I got everything down. It was the same way for me at Wake. You know what I mean? I went from literally within the span of like 3 weeks, I was drinking beers with my friends on the football field. 3 or 4 weeks later, I'm dodging jeepneys in San Paulo. So, and that's not, like I said, I apologize if that came across disparagingly, because that's not what I mean. Just meaning it was a huge transition for me. It was nothing like I'd experienced. And it was a challenge. It was a lot different. Everyone was so nice. Like, you know, Coach Eric, when I first got out there, Super Anton, and you, Gilas, everyone I dealt with, to be very clear, was nothing but nice to me. But at the same time, that adjustment was just really big, especially because it happened so quick. Maybe I know like every Phil-Am has to do it, right? But I would imagine most of them, it's not so quick though. Maybe they go home for a couple months and it's like, okay, I'm going to train. And then in their mind, I'm like, I'm getting ready to move to the Philippines. For me, it was just like, I was on a plane within like 3 days of agreeing to do it. And it's just, it was quick.
And and at the end of the day, even if you're around the nicest people, bro, you're still alone. At the end of the day, you're still alone. Like Anton and Coach E, like they would be there for you anytime you would need them, but they still had their own lives, and you still had your own. You still had to deal with Sampalok by yourself. Like Sampalok can get crazy. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, man. When we have tune-up games in NU, it can be crazy out here. Like, and I don't mean that in any way, but you get what I'm saying? Like,
no, it's way different. It's way different. And like you said, you're by yourself. I lived by myself. My teammates were nothing but good to me, but there wasn't a single Phil-am on my NU team.
that would be tough.
So that it was an adjustment. It was 100%. It was a tough adjustment. Like I said, everyone was nothing but nice to me, but no matter what, it's going to be an adjustment.
How about the Filipino game, the Filipino brand of basketball? What was the adjustment like? Because Phil-ams, it's always the physicality. I think that's the first thing you're gonna notice. It's the physicality. So how was that adjustment like on the court, wherein you were like, "Yo, they're trying to hit me"?
Yeah, I think especially too as a center, to be honest, it's even a bigger adjustment. You know what I mean? Because if you're a guard, right? I mean, I'm sure you've even watched those videos, like even in like these like, you know, street ball type games, it's like they can try to grab you, but if you're pulling up, there's nothing they can do. But if you're a center, like playing two-handed defense, using the knee, it's just so much more physical, and like that's fine. They shouldn't change it because of what I prefer or how it is in the US, but it's so much more physical, and even just like on post moves, like getting a two-handed shove as you're going up for a post hook is just like it's just in your mind, it's wired to be like, that's a foul. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and also the schemes, I think I made this point before, like people watch Ateneo and they're like, oh my God, is this the San Antonio Spurs? Like I've never seen something like this. And like, shout out to Coach Tab and those guys. They do a great job of like running that. But like, for me, that's just how I'm used to basketball being played. You know what I mean? Where most of the schemes is at least is just like up and down, speed, dribble drive type of deal, quick ball screens. It's all predicated on speed. So it's a lot different style of play.
Oh yeah, in the Philippines, it's more individualistic. I think that's the number one thing you would notice, especially watching Ateneo. Yeah. My bad if I have to say this, but especially watching Ateneo and going up against my team, the UP Fighting Maroons, it's always system versus like superstars.
Hey, I'm glad you said that, because now you can get in trouble for saying something bad too.
They know that. They know that. Yeah. And I gotta be honest, man. With my game, because I grew up playing that style, so I would fit in more with a UP type of offense. So that's exactly what you were saying. Like you grew up playing this brand of basketball. Yeah. So when you shift to a different brand of basketball, that's a big adjustment, man. They were expecting you. I'm gonna be honest with you. They were expecting you to come in and like, yo, take us home.
Score like 25. 25 a game. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, bro. Like they were expecting you to come in, yo, get the basketball every possession and do something. And how was that? I want it to come from you, like the pressure of being a Phil-am, and you came from Wake Forest, you came from this, you came from Gilas. Like, how was that pressure like? Because I'm sure, bro, when you went into NU, and I'm guilty of this. I was an analyst. Like, yo, this Troy Wright kid, like he signed with NU, bro. Like that's gonna be crazy. He's gonna play UAAP after playing Wake Forest, after playing Gilas. So how was that pressure like?
So it's really tough, and I won't spend this interview like defending myself, but I have to throw in one thing outside, and I'm also skipping ahead. Outside of the, I think it was like the 8-game period surrounding my arrest in the Philippines, I averaged a double-double anytime I played. Gilas Cadets, Phil Oil. My first 2 games in the UAP. My last 2 games in the UAP. PBA D-League, I averaged a double-double. So I was like, I played pretty good with Gilas Cadets. I was like, I'm averaging a double-double in the UAP. I'm doing pretty good. And then the expectations were like, basically like, oh, you suck. I'm averaging a double-double. Like, I guess I just didn't like, I just felt like, I was like, I never said I was going to average 25 a game. Like that's not the type of player I am. I play really hard. I think I'm very, very good. If like 3x3, right? Putting my teammates and playing winning basketball, putting my teammates in positions to succeed and helping us win. That's what's most important to me. Like you can just even see like, to also to be fair to myself, maybe if my mindset was different, I'm not sure I'm a 30 point per game player, but it would have been higher for sure. So just having those expectations, and not even so much the expectations, I think that definitely was tough. Like I said, just the moment where I'm like, I had 13-9 and they're saying very disappointing debut. I was like, oh, okay. that's fine. It was tough, but I think it was more so just, like I said, it was the other stuff I think that weighed on me more. Like I said, the arrest, you're living alone. You don't really, most of the people you're speaking to can't relate to you as much. That was more so, especially now, what other people think doesn't bother me very much. And even at the time, it didn't bother me too much. It was more just myself being comfortable. That was the biggest toll.
I'm sure slowly you just really just like started to face out and like not really like face everything out and just focus on the goal. And yeah, man, like a regular guy had 13-9. That would have been a career game.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, sometimes that's the thing. And because the Wake Forest tag is there, were you guys expecting Tim Duncan to come out here? like that's how it is. Like Wake Forest, oh my gosh, Tim Duncan, Chris Paul. You get what I'm saying? Like that's how you're looked at here in the Philippines, at least. What was it like to be in a team? Like who did you get close to? Like in a team full of pros, who did you get close to? What was it like? The adjustment, like the off the court shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously I gravitated towards the Phil Ams or Phil Can to be specific. Like Gabe Norwood and Matthew Wright were the guys who, and mostly Gabe, he was like, everyone knows what type of guy he is. So nice. I'm sure I was asking the dumbest questions in the world and he was willing to answer every single one, making sure I was all good and all these kind of stuff. So he was the first guy I hung out with, but every single player on that team was really nice. Like, especially like I can only imagine them and their stature, everything they've achieved, seeing this new kid who hasn't really earned anything. Like I could see myself being like, F this kid, but they were also nice. Even Calvin Abueva, no matter how much he likes to mess with me, that guy's a jokester. So he messed with me a little bit, but besides that, everyone was really nice. The staff, the coaches, everything. It was, I don't know what else to say besides it was a great experience and everyone was nothing but nice.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing you can expect from Filipinos. Like hospitality.
100%.
Hospitality. That's why the toxicity comes from people on the keyboard, on their phones. But honestly, when you meet a Filipino, especially the guys who know what you're going through, and those are the hoopers.
Yeah.
That's why hoopers watch out for hoopers. The last person that would diss a hooper or say something about a hooper is a hooper. True. Like, I know what you're going through. I know what you're going through. And yeah, these guys are for sure, man, always a pleasure to work with them, be around them, especially like what you said with their stature and everything. But this is something I want to get into. Like the first real moment that Troy Reich made news was the brawl. Yeah. What was it like? I don't know if you've told this story in any other interview, but what was the story like? Just that game, like being on the bench. I'm sure you were on the bench, right? Or you were behind the bench?
Yep, I was on the bench.
Like, what was it like to be at that specific spot, watching this whole game unfold, and then to how it was, and then especially the after, like back in the dugout? It's not gonna create controversy because it's been a while. I'm just curious about how it
trust
went
me, by
down.
this point I know how to give a non-controversial answer.
Yeah, please do.
Because I have told this story a couple times, so I'll try to keep it short.
Yeah, go.
Basically, I for some reason I didn't see any of that like sticker stuff or any of this. I didn't know what happened before the game. I forgot why it was, but I didn't know what happened. So I was sitting there next to CBC, Carl Cruz, and I was just joking with him. I was like, because it was getting chippy, right? And I was literally joking because I didn't know what happened before. I was like, uh-oh, here it comes. Because you're used to, like, you see it in the NBA, right? It's always like, oh, you're lucky I got held back. I was gonna go at you. So I was like, okay. I was like, this lame stuff is coming. Yeah. But then no one got in between anyone. So then this crazy thing breaks out. And like literally, I think there's a certain clip where you see me, I'm literally smiling when I get off the bench. Cause I was like, I was just like, I'm like, it's cool. Like this is about to be a little like fake Lonzo Ball type fight or something like that. But then everything broke out. And then after that, I wish I could say like, I remembered, or I was like, I felt in my heart that I was compelled to stop this. It's like, no, I was just like, oh my God, what's going on? Like people need to get off each other. It was just like a completely a natural reaction. Then after that, I got into the dugout and I got a tweet on my phone, and like literally I was the front picture of standing over the Australian player, and it was like Australia, and it literally said underneath, Filipino player attacks Australian player. Yeah, so that's the only reason too. Like I messaged someone and I was like, hey, can you like get this taken down? Like, once again, I'm not like a marketing type of dude, but I was like, this cannot be out there. Like, this is not fair at all. They're like, okay, yeah, we're trying. So I was like, okay, I'm just tweeting about this. Like, this is not what happened.
I didn't even know that was, bro, from the get-go, when I saw the picture, I was like, yo, people were already saying that you were defending the Australian.
Yeah, I think some people were saying that, but at least some people took it the wrong way, because that was literally the caption of the photo. So I just tweeted it. And then it went like viral. And it's funny looking back at now because like you said, it was a big moment. Like there were certain names who like retweeted it. And at the time I was like, I have no idea who the heck this is. And then now I look back, I'm like, oh my God, they tweeted about me. So it's funny, but yeah, that was just a crazy, insane moment. And once again, that's one of those things where I'd literally been in the Philippines for I think like 2.5 weeks at that point. So I didn't know what was going on. So to have that kind of be my first moment was pretty crazy.
And the funniest part is, I'm sorry, Carl, my bad, but you were beside Carl Brian Cruz, and it was like North Pole, South Pole. Carl Brian Cruz came out the bench like bah, bah, and then you came out like yo. Like,
here's one thing though I need to get in though. Like people have asked me like, oh, what do you think? Was that okay? Was it not okay? It's like, I don't know. Like my teammates, I'm sure there's certain situations where they have to defend yourself, defend your brother, all this stuff. My only thing was I saw a guy getting attacked by people who are not on our team in a defenseless position. So whatever anyone else had to do, I'm sure like I have no feelings about it. You got to do what you do to protect your brothers. But in that particular situation, I was like, okay, this isn't even our teammates. No, we're not going to do this.
You knew all along that you were going to make it to the pros, or you were at least going to enter the draft at some point when you flew out here. So I can't really ask you like what made you decide to enter the draft, because that was already part of the plan to begin with. But looking at the PBA,
you'd be surprised though. You'd be surprised.
Okay, like what made you decide that this is the year that I'm going to enter the draft?
3x3 was fun, man. I had a great time. The traveling, the like lifestyle, the people involved, like shout out to all them. They treated me really well. I had a lot of fun, and I also enjoy that style of play. I think in a sense, 3x3 is kind of the future, like playing in the malls, the Olympics, all that stuff. It's really, really cool. But I still felt it was time, just because, like I said, I wanted that challenge. You know what I mean? You don't want to, especially in the Philippines, like I didn't want to leave any stone unturned and not at least like challenge myself at that level. So that's really what it is for me. Like I enjoy playing basketball, man. Like I play basketball to have fun, and like I like the challenge. I like accomplishing new things, and like that's what the PBA was. It was like I felt like it was time for that, and also I felt I felt ready. That's the other thing too. Like I think I could have entered last year, and maybe even like financially, it probably would have been better for me. But I felt like mentally and physically ready now, and for me, that's what's most important.
Yeah, but you touched on financially. I know the chicks to carry y'all, man. I know the chicks to carry y'all, man. Come on.
A lot of man.
That's the reason why Alvin
Pascal
spent 3 years in chicks. Like you didn't even plan to get into PBA. Like
Alvin's there for the only rice. That's the only reason. That's
the only chicken.
Only rice.
The only chicken and the only rice, bro.
Hey man, you give him that, he's good to go. Forget the financial.
What can you bring to a PBA team?
I think kind of a little bit what I talked about before, but winning basketball, playing hard, and versatility. I don't mean to pump myself up too much, but I think I bring a very like special skill set. Maybe I'm not giving you 30 a game, but I think especially as I continue to develop and bulk up, I can guard fives. You know, I have that size, but also at the same time, you know, in the PBA, 2 conferences out of it, you're playing with an import, and they're scoring like a third of your points at least. So a lot of it is how are you going to play with that import? So being able to stretch the floor from 3, guard maybe a big if there's a smaller import, these type of things, but basically just being able to do whatever the team needs. I think I bring that to the table. If you need a shooter to stretch the floor, if you need someone to do the little things, to do the dirty work, to guard a 5, to get rebounds, I think I can do that. And at every level I've been at, I've brought that to the table.
Yeah, and I believe like with how I know now your mindset and how I know I know how you play, you're going to fit well more in the PBA, especially because they're not going to look at you to score 25 points.
Exactly, yeah.
So I think you're going to fit in with a team, especially if you go mid to late first round. You're going to get in a team with a core, and you're going to come in, like, do your own thing, just be a star in your own role. Unlike when you went to NU, it's like, yo, get the basketball and go.
Yeah, I think it's all levels to it, right? Like it's not just good versus bad. So I'm not a 30-point per game scorer, but it's just a fact. I was not out of place at Wake Forest. I was not a star. I was not a main player. I wasn't really even like a main bench player, but I wouldn't have been there if I couldn't play at that level. So for me, I feel like the PBA, it's going to be a challenge. I'm going to have to work very hard, but especially like you said, if I go to one of these teams who's potentially contending, I think I can slide right in. And if I work hard, I can contribute right away, which maybe especially depending where I go, I'm not sure you're always able to find that at that point in the draft. So for me, I think that's kind of how I'd pitch myself.
I just want to
Okay.
give you the floor, bro, and then just say thanks to everyone, say what's up, and you know, just all your supporters. You got a lot, bro, in the Philippines, especially after your 3x3 stint. So.
I just want to give a shout out any of my fans, anyone who supported me. I'm gonna keep working hard, and I've been getting ready for the draft. I hope to make you guys proud. Thank you for following me on my journey, on my dream. Once again, I'm just gonna keep doing whatever I can to hopefully make you guys proud and make the biggest impact and be the best basketball player I can be in the PBA. So stay tuned. Hopefully some exciting stuff coming soon, and subscribe to Mikey's YouTube channel as well while you're at it.